I was born fat. Before prom started, everyone was asking each other to be their date. Someone shoved me toward Nicholas Reed and shouted for us to get together. My face turned red, and I stumbled right into the arms of my tall, handsome childhood friend. But Nicholas shoved me hard to the floor like he had touched something filthy. You disgusting fat pig. Don't touch me. Gross. If I didn't feel sorry for you getting bullied, I wouldn't even bother with you. The whole class laughed at me. Austin Walker, the star quarterback on the football team, helped me up from the floor. Nicholas Reed, do you really think everyone in the world is as blind as you? The whole room went silent in an instant. He lowered his head and glanced at me, looking too serious for it to be a joke. Serena Hayes, you'll be beautiful once you lose weight. Nicholas let out a sneer. If she looks even half as good as the cheer captain after losing weight, I'll live stream myself eating crap. He looked at my dress, which had split at the seams. But, well, this sow's biggest hobby is eating, so there's no way she can lose weight. Another round of laughter broke out around us. I covered my torn dress, looked at him, and all 12 years of my crush vanished in that moment. That night, after I got home, I stood in front of the mirror and looked at myself. 5'9", 250 pounds. I wrote down a plan in my notebook. First, lose weight. Second, change my college application and stop going to Harvard University with him. LOL, the toad really wants to eat swan meat. She's 250 pounds and still dares to like Nicholas. Where does she get the courage? My classmates' mocking did not stop. Chloe Summers, the queen bee, laughed the loudest and deliberately picked up a plate piled high with cream cake. Then she pressed the plate into my face. Cream smeared all over my face. Serena, don't be sad. Eat more, just like a pig eating feed. Once you're full, you won't be sad anymore. Someone chimed in, Serena, if you want a boyfriend, you might as well find a boar. The prom exploded with laughter again. Nicholas held a glass of champagne, the remnants of mockery still hanging at the corner of his mouth. As if none of this had anything to do with him. Austin Walker, the star quarterback, frowned and glanced at him but said nothing more. Instead, Chloe Summers, who was standing beside Nicholas, leaned over and whispered something. Nicholas gave a low laugh as if he were sneering. I wiped the cream from my face and stood up. I'm leaving first. Chloe immediately put on a caring expression. Serena, don't be mad. We were really just joking. I ignored her, got up and walked out. When I passed by Nicholas, he did not even lift his head and was still chatting with Chloe. I stopped. Nicholas Reed. He finally looked up at me with a trace of impatience in his eyes. What? I looked at him. I remembered when we were 6, when he moved next door to my house and scraped his knee on the very first day. I was the one who carried him on my back and took him to the neighborhood clinic. Back then, he smiled at me even though I was already chubby. That one smile stayed with me for 12 years. Every word you said today, I said very softly. One day you'll regret it. He raised an eyebrow and sneered without taking me seriously. Me regret it? Fat ass in this life. I did not listen to the rest and pushed the door open. The hallway was very quiet. My hands were shaking, but my tears did not fall. It was not that it did not hurt. It hurt too much. So much that I could not cry. My best friend Nina chased after me and grabbed my wrist. Serena, I'll go back right now and help you. Nina, I cut her off, my voice hoarse, walk with me. The sunset stretched our shadows very long. I walked a long way before I spoke.
He's right.
I really am 250 pounds right now, but he said I'll never lose weight in this lifetime. I'm going to lose it just to show him. Nina bit her lip and said nothing, only holding my hand even tighter. When I got home that night, everyone was asleep. I stood alone in front of the mirror. My frame clearly was not small, but it was completely buried under fat. My face was as round as a big ball of dough, and I had 3 full layers of chin. But when I leaned closer, my eye shape was pretty. My nose bridge was high. The little mole at the corner of my eye looked like it had been drawn on. Austin Walker's words echoed in my ears. Serena Hayes, you'll be beautiful once you lose weight. Was it true? I did not know. But tonight I made 2 decisions. First, lose weight with a goal of 110 pounds. Second, cancel my Harvard University application. I opened my laptop and logged into the application system. On the screen, Harvard University's admission confirmation page glowed quietly. The mouse hovered over decline offer. Nicholas's words seemed to ring in my ears again. You disgusting fat pig.
Don't touch me. Gross.
I did not hesitate again. I clicked decline.
Then I
wrote another application email. It was to Stanford University, more than 1,000 miles away from Boston. Because of Nicholas, I had never even looked at it before. For him, I applied to law, a major I did not like. Now I chose the major I liked, and clicked send. Thanks to my excellent grades. The other side soon sent me an admission notice. I clicked accept and closed my laptop, but my heart felt lighter than ever. Starting today, I would no longer live for Nicholas Reed. I would live for myself. At 5 o'clock the next morning, when the alarm rang, the sky was still dark. I put on my sneakers, went out, and took a jump rope to the community square. On the first day, I only jumped 200 times before I was panting like I was about to die. On the third day, I increased it to 500, and my calves were so sore they trembled when I went upstairs. On the fifth day, after jumping 1,000 times, I leaned over a trash can and threw up. But I never stopped for even one day. On the evening of the sixth day, I was stretching downstairs when Nicholas came back from playing soccer outside. He held a soccer ball and looked me up and down. "Why are you covered in sweat?" I did not speak and kept stretching my leg. He walked over and leaned against the wall, saying casually, "A classmate saw you jumping rope to lose weight?" I still said nothing. He kept talking to himself, his tone carrying that careless certainty he always had. "If you really want to lose weight, get a gym membership. Jumping rope alone won't do much. With your weight, never mind." After a pause, he added, "By the way, did you get your Harvard University admission letter?" Mine arrived. My hand paused for a moment. He thought I was still going to Harvard University. Everyone thought so. I straightened up and walked into the building with no expression on my face. "Behind me," he shouted, "did you get it or not?" The building door closed, cutting off his voice. As I went upstairs, the corner of my mouth actually curved slightly. "Nicholas Reed, take your time waiting. When October 3rd comes, you'll know." On the 8th night, someone posted a video in the class group chat. It was footage of me jumping rope in the community square, heavy panting, soaked clothes, jumping once and stopping once, and my fat shaking nonstop with every rise and fall. The person filming had deliberately chosen the ugliest angle. "I'm dying. Serena Hayes really started losing weight. Nicholas's words really hit her hard, huh? Austin said she looked good after losing weight." I couldn't see any potential in that face even with a magnifying glass. "Chloe Summers, Serena, good luck. Anyway, there are tons of pretty girls at Harvard Law, so if you don't lose a little weight, you'll seriously feel inferior once school starts." Nicholas also came out and sent a message. My heart jumped. He said, "Stop posting stuff like this. Are you all children?" Someone teased him. "Nicholas, are you feeling sorry for her?" He replied, "Are you guys bored? What does her losing weight have to do with me? I never liked her. What did it have to do with him?"
Right.
It never had anything to do with him. I liked him for 12 years, and he said it had nothing to do with him.
Fine.
From now on, it really would have nothing to do with you. I left the class group chat. I opened Nina's chat box. "I'm going to stay at my grandma's place until school starts. Keep it a secret for me. If anyone asks, say you don't know. Nina, leave it to me, but you have to promise me you'll come back alive." I smiled and typed an okay. Then I opened Nicholas's chat box. I looked at all the messages I had sent him over the past 3 years. "My mom made apple pie today. Want to come over? It's raining on the way home. I brought you an umbrella. Good night." Every single one had been read and ignored. On the rare occasions he replied, it was always got it, or stop bothering me. I took a deep breath. Delete friend, no hesitation. Early the next morning, I dragged my suitcase downstairs. Downstairs, I ran into Nicholas's mom. "Serena, where are you going?" "To my grandma's place for a while." "Then when Nicholas comes to your house for dinner later." "Mrs. Reed," I smiled. "Nicholas is already an adult, so there's no need to trouble my mom anymore." When I carry my suitcase out of the community, a window opened behind me. I knew it was Nicholas's room, but I did not look back, not even once. My grandma lived on a farm in the countryside, where the phone signal had only one bar, and there was almost no Wi-Fi. On the first day I arrived, I locked my phone in a cabinet. Every day I got up at 5 o'clock to jump rope. In the morning, I power walked along the wooded trail outside the farm. In the afternoon, I helped my grandma prune fruit trees, move hay, and take care of the horses. The meal plan Grandma made for me was chicken breast with roasted vegetables, rotating between oatmeal, brown rice, and sweet potatoes. In the first week, I lost 6 pounds, down to 194 pounds. In the second week, I lost 5 pounds, down to 189 pounds. Starting from the third week, the weight dropped more slowly, so I added 2,000 extra jumps every day and one set of strength training. In the fourth week, I was 180 pounds. In 1 month, I had lost a full 20 pounds. There were changes in the mirror, but they were not obvious enough. My face was not as round anymore, but my jawline was still blurry, and my body was loose and sagging like deflated dough. I did not waver at all. Continue. In the fifth week, I was 173 pounds. In the sixth week, I was 166 pounds. I turned on my phone for the first time. Dozens of messages flooded in. Nina's messages. Nicholas came to me. He asked where you went. I played dumb. He asked again today. He even asked if you changed your number. Guess what he said? He said, she's definitely just throwing a tantrum. She'll be back in a couple days. I let out a sneer. Throwing a tantrum? Nicholas Reed, you really think too highly of yourself. I kept scrolling. Nina had sent more. He's getting closer and closer to Chloe Summers. Today, Chloe posted a photo of them playing ball together. Everyone in the group is saying they might be together. I looked at that message, then I waited for my heart's reaction. Unexpectedly, there was nothing. It did not hurt anymore. It really did not hurt anymore. Your mother was like this back then, too. She was chubby as a kid, and no one paid attention to her. Then she suddenly slimmed down, and the whole high school went crazy. You're even more dramatic than your mother. I thought Grandma was exaggerating too much. In the 10th week, I was 135 pounds. I turned on my phone for the second time. Nina's latest message, Nicholas told me to tell you that. If you don't join the Harvard freshman group soon, it'll be too late. His exact words were, is she still throwing a tantrum? Tell her I won't pay attention to her when the time comes. So she shouldn't get her hopes up. I looked at the sentence and could not help laughing. Even now, he still thought I would go to Harvard University. He still thought I would chase after him like I used to. Nicholas Reed, what kind of dream are you living in? I replied to Nina. Don't tell anyone I went to Stanford University to study computer science, including him. Let him find out himself. Nina replied, okay, I can't wait to see his face. In the 11th week, I was 125 pounds. Grandma officially forbade me from going out alone. When you went to town to buy things the day before yesterday, those college boys in the supermarket kept following you. Did you know that? It can't be that serious, right? Go look in the mirror yourself. I went to look, then I fell silent. In the mirror was a face so beautiful that I found unfamiliar. It's like looking at myself with a beauty filter. Serena stood in front of the mirror for a long time. The girl staring back at her had almond-shaped eyes, a sharp jawline, soft pink lips, and thick dark hair that reached the middle of her back. She looked expensive, not because she wore designer clothes, because she finally carried herself like she knew her own worth. Grandma crossed her arms from the doorway. I've been telling you for years. Your face was hiding under baby fat. Now stop gawking at yourself. Serena laughed. I wasn't hiding. Grandma snorted.
No.
You were surviving. Those words hit harder than any number on the scale. She wasn't becoming beautiful. She was becoming free. Week 12. 120 pounds. She stopped weighing herself every morning. The number no longer mattered. Instead, she focused on strength. She could now run 6 miles without stopping, deadlift more than her own body weight, do 100 push-ups. She wasn't trying to become tiny. She wanted to become untouchable. One afternoon, Grandma drove her into the city. You've been wearing oversized farm clothes for 3 months. It's comfortable. It's tragic. Grandma parked outside the biggest shopping center. Today we're fixing that.
Sitting in sight.
3 hours later, she walked out looking like someone from a luxury fashion campaign. Black, high-waisted trousers. A cream silk blouse tucked neatly inside. Gold hoop earrings. White sneakers. A fitted trench coat draped over one arm. Her hair had been cut into soft layers that framed her face.
Minimal makeup.
Glossy lips. Tiny gold necklace. Elegant. Effortless. Dangerous. Even Serena barely recognized herself. The sales associate smiled nervously. Miss, yes, you should seriously consider modeling. Another employee whispered, I thought she was an influencer. Grandma proudly swiped her credit card. My granddaughter doesn't need validation from strangers. She looked Serena up and down. But they're not wrong. That evening, Serena made one final change. She opened every social media account she owned. Delete. 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 Old photos. Old captions. Old playlists Nicholas had recommended.
Gone.
Then she changed her profile picture. A simple sunset over the countryside. No selfie. No face reveal. She wasn't doing this for attention. If people wanted to know what happened to Serena Hayes, they could wonder. Back in Boston, Nicholas frowned at his phone. He'd searched Serena's account out of habit. Nothing. No posts. No stories. No profile picture. No online status. She blocked me? He opened their old chat. A gray notification appeared. You can no longer send messages to this user. For some reason, his chest felt strangely empty. Austin walked into football practice, carrying a water bottle. What are you staring at? Nicholas locked his phone. Nothing. Austin glanced at the screen. Anyway, you're checking Serena's account? Nicholas scoffed. As if. Austin smiled. Funny.
What?
The girl you kept saying didn't matter. He shrugged. You seem to spend a lot of time looking for her. Nicholas's face darkened. I just wanted to tell her to stop acting childish. Austin laughed outright. 3 months. What? She's been gone 3 months. If someone leaves for 3 months without contacting you, he looked Nicholas straight in the eye. They're not throwing a tantrum. They're leaving. For the first time, Nicholas had no comeback. Meanwhile, Serena was sitting on Grandma's porch coding on her laptop. Her acceptance package from Stanford had arrived, along with an invitation to join a freshman hackathon. She smiled. Computer science. The major she'd secretly loved since middle school.
Not law.
Not Harvard. Not Nicholas. Her own dream. She accepted the invitation. Then she opened a blank notebook. Across the first page she wrote, Serena Hayes 2.0. Goals. Lose weight. Leave Nicholas behind. Stanford. New goals. Build my own app. Graduate top of my class. Become financially independent before 25. Never let anyone decide my worth again. Grandma peeked over her shoulder. No boyfriend goal? Serena smirked. If a man wants to be in my life. She closed the notebook with a snap. He'll have to earn a seat. Grandma burst into laughter. Now that's my granddaughter. Serena leaned back in the rocking chair, the evening breeze lifting her hair. For 12 years she'd wanted Nicholas Reed to look at her. Now, the only thing she wanted was for him to look just long enough to realize he'd lost someone he never even bothered to know. And by then, she wouldn't even spare him a second glance. October 3rd arrived. Move-in day. Harvard University buzzed with freshmen dragging suitcases across the brick walkways. Nicholas adjusted the strap of his backpack, barely listening as Chloe chattered beside him. So, did Serena finally stop sulking? Nicholas shrugged. She'll show up eventually. Chloe smiled sweetly. I mean, Harvard is her dream, because of you. Austin, walking a few steps ahead, stopped.
No.
Nicholas frowned. What? Austin looked over his shoulder. It was your dream. Silence. Nicholas rolled his eyes. Whatever. He pulled out his phone. No messages from Serena. Not a single good luck. Not a reminder to eat breakfast. Not even a sticker. For the first time since they were kids, October 3rd had arrived, and Serena Hayes hadn't contacted him. A strange irritation settled in his chest. Across the country, Stanford University's campus glowed beneath the California sun. Palm trees swayed gently. Students laughed while carrying welcome bags. Serena stepped through the entrance wearing wide-leg cream trousers, a fitted black sleeveless top, white sneakers, and a leather backpack slung over one shoulder. Her hair fell in glossy waves. Natural makeup highlighted her sharp features. She looked confident, untouchable, not because she was dressed up, because she no longer felt the need to hide. She checked into her dorm. Within minutes another freshman gasped. Oh my God. Serena looked up. What? I thought you were some celebrity. Another girl immediately nodded. I was literally about to ask for a picture. Serena laughed. I'm just Serena. No way. You seriously look like a model. Instead of shrinking like she once would have, Serena smiled. Thanks. Then she smoothly changed the subject. So, anyone else here terrified about computer science? The room burst into laughter. Within an hour, she'd already made friends. Back at Harvard, the freshman law orientation began. The professor started taking attendance. When he reached the H's, Serena Hayes? Silence. He looked around. Serena Hayes? No answer. He marked something on his clipboard. Student declined enrollment. Nicholas froze. His pen slipped from his fingers. What? The professor continued without looking up. She notified the university months ago. Months ago. Months. Not yesterday. Not last week. Months. Nicholas's heartbeat suddenly became loud in his ears. Impossible. She had dreamed about Harvard since middle school. She'd spent years talking about studying law. His stomach dropped. Unless, Austin slowly turned toward him. You didn't know. It wasn't a question. Nicholas stood up, so quickly his chair scraped across the floor. There has to be some mistake. There isn't, the professor replied calmly. The student declined her offer. The room fell silent. Several classmates exchanged confused looks. Wait, Serena isn't here? I thought she was obsessed with Nicholas. Didn't she always say she'd follow him to Harvard? Nicholas wasn't listening anymore. His hands were shaking. He immediately called Serena. The number you have dialed is unavailable. Again.
Blocked.
He opened every social media account. Nothing. He messaged Nina. Where is Serena? Nina saw the message almost instantly. 3 dots appeared. Then disappeared. Appeared again. Finally, one message arrived. Didn't you say her life had nothing to do with you? Nicholas stared at the screen. Another message came. You also said you'd never regret anything you said that night. His breathing became uneven.
Just tell me where she is.
Nina replied almost immediately.
No. Blocked.
Thousands of miles away, Serena had no idea any of this was happening. Or perhaps, she simply didn't care anymore. She was sitting beneath a sprawling oak tree with a laptop balanced on her knees, absorbed in debugging a program. A voice interrupted her concentration. Mind if I sit here? She looked up. Standing there was a tall boy with messy dark hair, warm brown eyes, and a Stanford hoodie thrown over one shoulder. He held up an iced coffee. I've been watching you glare at that code for 20 minutes. She blinked. Was I glaring? A little. He grinned. It looked like you were trying to intimidate the computer. She laughed, a bright, genuine laugh that surprised even herself. He extended his hand. I'm Ethan. She shook it. Serena. He glanced at her screen. Oh, you code in Python? A little. A little? He pointed at the algorithm she'd written. This is cleaner than what half the teaching assistants write. She raised an eyebrow. Flattery already? He placed a hand dramatically over his heart. I swear I'm just a nerd. She smiled. Good. I like nerds. Ethan blinked. You know, most people flirt after learning someone's last name. Serena smirked. Who said I was flirting?
4.
A split second, the confident computer science major was speechless. Then he laughed. Okay. I walked right into that. Across the lawn, several students watched the exchange. One girl whispered, those two have ridiculous chemistry already. Serena leaned back against the tree, sunlight filtering through the leaves. For the first time in years, someone was talking to her without pity, without mockery, without comparing her to anyone else. And somewhere in Boston, Nicholas Reed finally realized the truth. He hadn't lost the overweight girl who loved him. He'd lost the chance to ever know the woman she'd become. And this time, there was no way to chase after someone who had already chosen a future that no longer included him. The first month at Stanford flew by. Serena buried herself in classes. Data structures, discrete mathematics, programming labs. Unlike high school, no one cared what she used to look like. They only cared whether she could solve the impossible coding problem on the whiteboard. And she could. One afternoon, the professor projected a challenge that had stumped last year's class. I'll give 5 bonus points to anyone who can optimize this algorithm. The lecture hall fell silent. Students typed furiously. 10 minutes passed.
20.
Finally, Serena raised her hand. I have a solution. The professor looked surprised. Come show us. She walked to the front of the room, took the marker, and rewrote the algorithm from scratch. Halfway through, students stopped typing. By the time she finished, the room erupted into applause. The professor smiled. Excellent. Not only is it faster, it's elegant. After class, students immediately surrounded her. Can you explain how you thought of that? Are you tutoring? Want to join our programming team? Ethan leaned against the door with crossed arms. I knew it. She looked over. Knew what? You're secretly terrifying. She laughed. I'll take that as a compliment. Meanwhile, Harvard wasn't going quite as smoothly for Nicholas. He couldn't explain it. Nothing was wrong, yet everything felt off. His phone had become strangely quiet. No random good morning texts. No reminders before exams. No homemade cookies waiting outside his door during finals. He'd never appreciated those things. Now their absence was impossible to ignore. Even Chloe noticed. You've been distracted lately. I'm fine. You've checked your phone 6 times in the last 5 minutes. He immediately put it away. I wasn't. Austin, sitting across the cafeteria, watched the exchange. Then he walked over. You know what your problem is? Nicholas sighed. Here we go. You miss being loved. Nicholas laughed coldly. By Serena?
No.
Austin's expression stayed calm. You miss taking her love for granted. The smile disappeared from Nicholas's face. Austin continued. There's a difference. You never loved her. But you got used to someone always choosing you. And now, he shrugged. She finally chose herself. That weekend, Stanford held its annual autumn charity gala. Students were encouraged to dress formally. Serena almost skipped it. Ethan knocked on her dorm door. If you don't come, my roommate is going to spend the whole night explaining cryptocurrency. She opened the door wearing casual clothes. That's supposed to convince me? It convinced me to escape. She laughed. Give me 30 minutes. 30 minutes later, Ethan nearly forgot how to breathe. Serena stepped out wearing a sleek emerald green satin dress that fell elegantly to her ankles. The color made her eyes seem brighter. Simple gold earrings. Hair swept into a loose updo.
Mini-made makeup.
She looked sophisticated rather than flashy. Ethan stared for a solid 5 seconds.
Wow.
She tilted her head. What? He cleared his throat. I had a speech prepared. What happened to it? You walked out. She burst into laughter. You recovered well.
No.
I really didn't. The gala was filled with students, professors, and alumni. As Serena walked through the ballroom, conversations noticeably paused. Not because she demanded attention. Because confidence had replaced the insecurity she once carried. People naturally looked. She greeted everyone politely, laughed easily, and never tried to prove herself. Near the end of the evening, the dean took the stage. We'd like to recognize several freshmen who have already made exceptional contributions. 3rd place. 2nd place. First, he smiled. Serena Hayes, for leading the freshman coding initiative and mentoring fellow students. Applause thundered through the ballroom. Serena walked onto the stage. She accepted the award with a composed smile. No dramatic speech. Just one sentence. Thank you. I hope we keep helping each other grow. She stepped down to another round of applause. Ethan shook his head with a grin. You know you're making the rest of us look bad, right? I thought you said I was terrifying. I did. So this is your fault. Later that night, someone snapped a candid photo of Serena laughing with friends under strings of lights in the courtyard. She wasn't posing. She didn't even know the picture had been taken. The university's official social media account posted it with a caption. Stanford nights, new friendships, and unforgettable beginnings. Within hours, the photo spread far beyond campus. It eventually reached Boston, reached Harvard, reached a group chat filled with former classmates. Silence. Then someone typed, Wait, isn't that? No way. That's Serena Hayes. Another message followed almost immediately. She looks unbelievable. Then another. She isn't at Harvard? I heard she's studying computer science at Stanford.
What?
Since when? The chat exploded. Screenshots flew back and forth. People zoomed in on the picture, trying to reconcile the confident young woman in the emerald dress with the girl they had mocked at prom. Nicholas stared at the image for a long time. He zoomed in once, then again. He wasn't looking at the dress or the makeup. He was looking at her smile. It was different. Back then, every smile she'd given him had quietly asked, Will you notice me today? This smile asked nothing of anyone. She looked happy, truly happy. And he realized something that hit harder than any insult ever could. She hadn't transformed to make him regret losing her. She had transformed so completely